Hello, and welcome to Spirit Among Us. This week we've been talking a lot about the importance of love. That love needs to be intertwined with everything we do in our lives. Love should be the foundation of what we have. Without love, everything that we do is meaningless, is pointless. Paul talked about his ministry being nothing if he didn't have love. He talked about faith being useless if it wasn't done out of love. And today what I want to look at is how love is the single most important thing for our faith. 1 Corinthians chapter 13, verse 13. So now, faith, hope, and love abide, these three, but the greatest of these is love. So here we are. To end this chapter of 1 Corinthians 13, Paul makes this statement, talking about the greatness of love, the real importance of love. Now he starts off by saying, faith, hope, and love abide. Now what I think that means is that when it comes to our faith, when it comes to following Jesus, faith, hope, and love are all necessary. We need to have the Holy Spirit work these things into our lives. And what it also means is that all of these things work together. They abide together. As we saw yesterday with James talking about faith without works being dead, we saw that having faith and not having a real love for neighbor didn't work out because it didn't produce the works that we as Christians should have and should be displaying. When faith is paired with love, that gives us the motivation to serve those in need, as in the example we saw yesterday. You see, faith gives us the assurance that no matter how far someone is away from God, no matter how sinful, corrupt, or fallen they are, how many mistakes they have made, they are never too far gone for God to reach them. They are never too far away from Jesus where He can't save them. Hope works, reminding us of our hope, of where we are going. We are going into the presence of Jesus where we will be with Him forever. That is a hope that can't be taken away from us. And love is the motivating factor that makes us want to share that hope with others. That gives us the motivation to share this blessed hope and lead them to a place where they can experience it too. So all of these things work together. Faith, hope, and love all abide. But the greatest of these, the most important one, is love. You see, as we've been seeing this week, without love, all of these other things fall apart. If we don't have love, faith is pointless. If we don't have love, our hope is meaningless. It doesn't amount to anything. Love is not just essential. It is the most important part of our faith. Jesus put it like this. Matthew chapter 22, verses 37 through 40. And He said to him, You shall love the Lord your God with all your heart, and with all your soul, and with all your mind. This is the great and first commandment. And a second is like it. You shall love your neighbor as yourself. On these two commandments depend all the law and the prophets. So, love is the most important thing. The two greatest commandments, the greatest things we are called to, are central on love. Love God with all your heart, soul, and mind, and love your neighbor as much as you love yourself. As much as you cherish and care for yourself, care for your neighbor. And what I think we really need to understand is what Jesus says at the end of these verses, that on these two commandments depend all the law and the prophets. Now, do you see what that is saying right there? On these two things, these two commands of love, depend all the law. Following the law, like the Pharisees did in the day of Jesus, is useless without love. That's what they didn't have. They did not have a genuine, sincere love for God or a love for neighbor. And because of that, they were not on the right track. They were called whitewashed tombs. And that is why on these commandments depend all the law. The law depends on love. Following the law without loving God and loving neighbor is pointless. It doesn't amount to anything. Because love is central. Love is essential. Love is the most important thing. So in our lives, let us not forget these words of Jesus. It's important to know that faith, hope, and love all abide. They all work together in harmony in our lives. But let us never forget that the single most important thing for our faith in Jesus is love. Thank you for watching, and God bless.